So field management for hemp crops in western North Carolina may be different than other parts of the state. We're going to talk a little bit of how our research and past research has supported our growers and how creative and diverse these systems can be. Past research that informs field management for North Carolina growers includes bare ground versus plastic trials with Dr. Angela Post in crop and soil science, spacing and mulch trials, as well as planting date and harvest trials. We've also done on-farm trials with no-till, as well as companion trials, etc. Our spacing trials of the past 2 years have led us to this 5-row in-row spacing, which is what we use for the variety evaluations. That can look different for different varieties. Between-row spacing is dependent on your field management and ability to do weed management. Weed management is important for a healthy grow of hemp and any other crop in western North Carolina, and very important because we have limited chemical options for control. Oftentimes a pre-plant herbicide might be sprayed down between these plastic mulch rows that are set with drip irrigation. In this case, we incorporated one called Axe, which is an organic herbicide, followed by mechanical in-row weeding. So this is done with a rototiller, and our rows are spaced to fit that. Fertility management can vary widely on farms in western North Carolina, from 100% pre-plant fertilizer in the ground and bedded to weekly or sometimes even more often injections and sprays through fertigation and foliar feeding. Here for the strain trials, we submit tissue samples to the clinic every 3rd week throughout the vegetative and early flowering cycles, to inform our infield management for the growing season, as well as to supply information for NCDA and other NC State researchers looking at fertility for outdoor grown hemp on a large scale, as well as different variety needs and recommendations. You can find that information through our portal as well. Hemp was introduced to many growers in the United States recently as that crop that didn't have any issues. However, we have noticed disease and insect pressure and concerns for growers. Weekly scouting and monitoring is very important, looking at overall plants, underside of leaves, etc. Some of the main insects we've seen, as well as diseases, often come after the plants are in flower and getting close to harvest time, where prevention is really key. Insects we've observed include worms of various types, corn earworms, armyworms, loopers, etc., that come in when the plants go into flower and prefer kind of that end product that our growers are looking for. Prevention is key, as well as having a toolbox of integrative pest management strategies. Other hard-bodied insects we've seen but have observed, but they haven't decimated crops, include cucumber beetles, Japanese beetles, stink bugs, and more. We've also seen a high amount of beneficial insects, which is encouraging. For diseases, we've seen root diseases and water-transported diseases, as well as symptoms of foliar blights, oftentimes of fungal origin. Information from our entomologists and pathologists is available.
When you have a plant exhibiting disease symptoms, you want to take some samples of it and send it to your PDIC, or Plant Disease and Insect Clinic. And that's typically done by taking a disease sample and also a soil sample so that the pathologist can correctly identify whatever microbe or disease is in your soil. This typically helps pathologists identify disease that grow on hemp and can help further research towards hemp.
Some pests and disease may not be of economics importance, such as thrips and mites in an outdoor field. Oftentimes, when we take them out of a greenhouse, the beneficial insects and the outdoor conditions will muster. Other times, with a severe case of a fungal pathogen or perhaps worms coming in, we do need to approach management. Water management is very important. Field management, some people are trimming plants, as well as the need for potential pesticides and chemical or biological control. Be very mindful to check your national and state labels and restrictions regarding using any product on hemp. Also of note is the potential microbial load in your final product if using biologicals or other treatments. As we get closer to harvest time, the drying capacity and situation is something to consider. In western North Carolina, we've seen all types of drying, but have found that our humid conditions really require some effort of climate control with dehumidification and often temperature. This is Matterhorn, our only CBG entry in NCSU strain evaluations 2020, and it is stacking up well. In addition to dehumidification, blacking out areas and that, we have started new drying research this year with the installation of flue-cured tobacco barns at the Mountain Horticultural Crops Research and Extension Center, thanks to our funders, and look forward to evaluating those systems for western North Carolina growers.